Would you believe me if I told you that there was a time when being small, having braces, and wearing glasses was so popular that every girl wished they could have them all? When I was younger, I remember being so excited that I had to get braces. I was one step closer to accomplishing my goal. Next was a pair of glasses. One day, I had an idea. I'd always see my older sister using her prescription glasses while reading, and thought if I kept reading in low light, maybe eventually I would also need glasses too. Eventually, this actually worked. I finally needed to wear glasses. As I continued to grow older, I noticed that my vision got worse. I became nearsighted and needed a prescription for a whopping $900. But what did I care? This was exactly what I wanted. The lens of my glasses grew thicker and thicker over time that having a simple bowl of hot pot became a pain. I couldn't even enjoy my favorite meal. I really wanted to enjoy a simple meal with my friends, so I tried removing my glasses. But to no surprise, I was as blind as a bat. I couldn't see a darn thing. I couldn't even put the food in my mouth without dropping half of it on the table. My clumsy self would often accidentally break my glasses or forget my contact lenses somewhere never to be seen again. Without my sight, I would get so dizzy that all I could do was close my eyes and wait for it to stop. It got to the point where I had enough. I needed to get my eyesight fixed because it was becoming too unbearable. There are two options you can get if you want to get your eyesight fixed. First, there is Lasik. This is a type of laser eye surgery that is used to improve your eyesight by reshaping your cornea. An eye surgeon will first create a precise thin corneal flap that will expose the corneal tissue. Then, the surgeon will use a highly specialized laser, excimer laser, that will reshape the cornea in a unique pattern for each patient. Second, PRK is another type of laser surgery. It was the first type of eye surgery to be invented and is still commonly practiced today. The most significant difference between the two surgeries is that PRK removes the outer layer of the cornea completely, and it also takes a little longer than LASIK to recover. But the outcome is just as good as LASIK and is the perfect option for people who have a thinner cornea. For me, I went with LASIK. Now, you're all probably wondering, well, how can I do it too? Well, look no further because I will take you through all the steps. The first thing you should do is go have your eyes checked by a professional. This is because they have to check your eyes and see if it's even possible to do LASIK or PRK. To qualify for LASIK surgery, you must have a certain amount of thickness in the cornea, and you also cannot have any signs of retinal disease. After you finish getting checked and it's all clear, the nurse will make an appointment for the operation. Don't forget to ask the nurse about what you should do to prepare for the surgery so that everything runs smoothly on the day. A big thing to remember is to not wear any contact lenses at all for at least 5 to 7 days before the appointment, as it can irritate your cornea. Also, make sure you wash your hair before you go to the appointment because after the surgery, you won't be able to wash your hair or face at all for at least 7 days. After the operation, there are also a few rules that you will have to follow. First, you can't use any makeup on your face, and second, no perfume. This is because your eyes will be very sensitive and dry, so it's best to just take it easy and let your eyes heal before putting anything near your face. On the day of the appointment, the nurse will ask you to come in early so they can double-check your eyesight and do a couple more tests. The test will look at your eye pressure, measure the thickness and curvature of the cornea. This is to make sure you are 100% able to do the LASIK on the day. The nurse will also examine your irises, which might make you a little blurry, but don't worry, that's completely normal and will go away after a little bit. After the eye examination is done and there are no complications, the nurse will go ahead and book you in for the LASIK surgery. It will typically be booked for that afternoon. Because I needed glasses and already have a prescription of $900, I was super lucky that my cornea was thick enough to do LASIK. The doctor said that after the surgery, there will be a little bit of discomfort and it will take 6 months for the eyes to adjust and heal. But that after the 6 months, there won't be any more problems and I won't have to wear glasses again. After all the tests were done and my irises had settled down, the nurse came in and asked me to change into a robe. Like me, you will also have to wear a sanitary cap and sterile shoes. This is to make sure that harmful bacteria doesn't travel into the surgery room. Then, you must wash your face one last time and hop into the hospital bed to prepare for the surgery. Before the operation begins, the nurse will give you anesthesia for the pain so that you don't feel anything during the surgery. I remember when I was waiting for my operation to begin, I was excited but nervous. There was a moment where I got really scared and started to have second thoughts. I asked the nurse next to me if she could stay with me in the room and hold my hand. After the doctor has put in the numbing eye drops, they will put a special eye instrument called the lid speculum to hold your eyes open. It might seem a little scary, but it is just to stop you from blinking and to make sure everything runs smoothly during the operation. At the beginning of the surgery, I got a little afraid, but the doctor made me feel comfortable and said that if I felt any discomfort at all, I could hold his hand. As I was settling into the seat, the doctor asked me to focus on an image and to keep staring at it throughout the surgery. Once my eyes became accustomed to the light, the doctor asked, "Are you ready?" I said, "As much as I'll ever be." The doctor then went ahead and started using a laser. This was used to cut into the cornea and flattened it with a clear plastic plate. The laser separates the tissue underneath the cornea to create a flap. After it's finished, the laser and the plastic plate is removed from the eyes. Once the cornea is flat enough, the doctor will go ahead with the excimer laser. This can take a little bit of time depending on your eyesight, but for me, it took around 30 minutes because I had one eye that was nearsighted and the other that was farsighted. The most challenging part of my Lasik experience was during the operation. I found it really hard to focus and had to keep forcing myself to stare at the image. There would be times where I couldn't see anything at all. The doctor would have to tell me where to look, and I found it a little difficult because my eyes would drift away from the image without even realizing it. However, the doctor was very patient with me and would tell me gently where to look whenever my eyes would drift away. Both the nurse and the doctor took it very slow and made sure that I was comfortable. Every time they used the laser, they would make sure I was looking at the correct spots and do it little by little. After they were done with both eyes, I was taken into another room where they measured my eyesight, and this only took an extra 15 to 30 minutes. After my surgery was finished, the doctor covered my eyes with a special bandage that made me look like a bug. I had to stay there for the night and leave the bandage on until the morning. The next day, I took off the bandage and cleaned my eyes as the nurse instructed. I would try to open my eyes, but it was tough. Whenever I got them a little open, everything was super blurry. Don't freak out though, it's totally normal not to be able to open them yet. This is because your eyes are still healing and adjusting. It's also very important to find someone to pick you up. Please don't drive yourself because you won't be able to see, and don't try to force your eyes open either. It will strain them a lot. Just try to take it easy and make sure a loved one is coming to get you. For me, I didn't listen, and I tried to go home by myself. It was a big mistake though, because I quickly realized that it wasn't possible. After you finish everything and you're home in bed, remember to rest. No Netflix or looking at bright lights. You have to just rest your eyes and sleep. And if you can't sleep, the doctor will give you sleeping medicine. After a few days, I went back to the doctor for my checkup. I was finally able to see more clearly, but it still wasn't 100%. So don't worry, it will get clearer after some time. A big thing to remember is to make sure that no water touches the eye at all. The eyes have to be completely dry for at least 7 days, and no rubbing them either, as it could dislodge the flap of the cornea. The doctor will also prescribe you antibiotics drops that you must use every day and artificial teardrops that will keep the eyes clear of bacteria and dryness. The eyes will be slightly irritated for a while afterwards, but as long as you use the artificial eye drops every 1 hour and the antibiotics every 2 hours, the irritation will go away, and you will have a speedy recovery. The eyesight will still not be 100% yet, but for the first time, you will be able to see the world more clearly. And soon, you will never have to wear eyeglasses again.